a nice arc coming upward. So we've got these points, again, like we did before. And like I said, try to keep more spread here between the thumb. That's so that this distance between the finger and thumb is greater. Let's go to the next bulky area. We have the brevis, the flexor and extensor brevis muscles of the thumb. So let's go, we're going to add that bulk right in here now. Then our wrist, because our wrist is also, our arm is a cylinder, we can go off in that direction. And this was our forearm. So we're drawing as a cylinder moving away from us in space. And I should probably get a better articulation of where our knuckles are going to go.
They go in the, oh yeah, that was a stupid question.
What's that? There's no stupid questions here. What's your question?
Knuckles go in the middle of your fingers.
Let's try to get something like that. Yeah, the knuckles will go right in the center. What we actually have, if you look closely, are these sort of teardrop shapes here. Again, we're sort of looking at geometric simplification or sort of generalization. You see how you can look at your own hand and you can see this, it's almost a teardrop shape. The tendon's coming right up and over top of our joining finger bones here.
And teardrop shapes are the knuckles, right?
Yeah, it's caused by both of them coming together. And we're going to look at the bone on a profile view here. So what's happened here, this joining the finger creates this high rise, and the tendon is coming up and over top of it and going down our finger. So this tendon, you know the difference between tendons and ligaments?
Yes. Oh, I learned this in school. I should know this.
Oh yeah, you should both.
Yeah.
Don't they do different things?
Well, they attach differently and they do different things. Yeah.
I'm looking at like joints or something.
I'll give you a hint. Bone to bone.
Oh, like bone to muscle, right?
Ah, bone to muscle. Which is which?
Tendons are bone to muscle, right?
Ligaments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tendons or ligaments? I'll leave you guys with that. That's your homework.
What? Oh.
Okay, that's your homework.
Okay.
Okay, let's go next step. Let's build some ovoids on here because this is where the bone is inserting itself. Then we're going to create an adjacent ovoid here. And again, some people can do this. I've seen animators, they actually make boxes instead, like French fries. I prefer ovoids. I think the first thing a child does when they get a stick is they make this Mandela shape. It's natural. It's a natural mark that people can make. Kids do it all the time, and then it turns into a head, and then it becomes mommy, and then it becomes daddy, and whatever, and the son, and all kinds of things. But it's very natural for us to make that kind of mark. Our shoulder, when we draw, and I know you guys are drawing on your pads, you're hanging on to your pencil more like a writing. If you're going to draw on an easel, it's important to hang on to your tool like this. And you use your shoulder to draw with because your shoulder moves in a rotation kind of action, whereas your wrist and hand have limitations. So when I'm doing figure drawing, I like to get people to draw with their shoulder and stand farther away from their drawing pad. So you notice that this is sort of a natural action. So that's why I prefer ovoids, because I like to move my shoulder, rotate my shoulder. But anyway, it's up to you, whatever makes you feel comfortable. It's not,
Try that out tonight at lunch drawing, okay?
yeah, it's not really a right and wrong way. Some people would say, yes, there is, but anyway. Okay, so next thing we're doing is we're attaching cylinders then to the front. So we're still sort of looking at the hand in this position. What if I'm just turning it slightly? Or I'm tipping the fingers back inward? We're going in like this.
Hi, I'm sorry to bug you. We're doing the electrical in here, and they said that maybe.
So what would happen is I'm going to make the next bone come off. This one will sort of go straight. That one's going to angle a little bit. That one will angle slightly bit more. Or sort of do something like that. Actually, what happens, maybe that one is even hidden. So anyway, let's go with the next step. Let's say we're going to angle it off this direction. This distance gets less.
Wait, so how do you know the angle of that?
Well, it depends.
Probably guess.
It's a guess, because if I'm turning it like this, you notice, when I flex here, my fingers shake because of my surgery, so it doesn't feel wonderful. But if I turn my fingers like that, you can see that I've got this, and then that little pudgy part on the end where my
And the pinky doesn't show through at all.
fingers coming out. It could, if I'm going to tip my fingers at that much distance, what may happen is that this space would close up so that the pinky gets hidden in behind that finger. So since I've got them spread quite a bit, I will see some of it. And I'm going to have it tip in that direction. So the next thing here, of course, all of them are going to do that.
So could you draw like an arc to do that, or do you not really?
An arc,
Yeah, like for the.
you could, yeah, with all of them. You can see here, I just made a mistake with that, because if I'm having this one come up to that arc, that would mean that that's where that should go before it comes back. We've got this little webbing too. And that's another thing to keep in mind. After we get the skeletal, the bone structure drawn in there, we get this little webbing that occurs with the skin in between the fingers. I have a friend who has a lot of it. Like, remember that superhero called Aquaman?
Yeah.
And the webbing was pretty intense. Okay. Anyway, and generally, if the finger, I'm curving this down, this finger here wouldn't be curving outward either. So you just see the inside of the other two, but you won't see the inside of that one so much. So it'll be sort of curving down that way. Now you can change, let's say, for instance, if I really wanted to articulate that the hand was going in this direction, I would have to cut a lot of that side off here, and these two would be closer together. But I'm just giving you sort of a general layout of how the knuckles are sort of rounded. And how about our thumb? What do we do with the thumb? Well, in my sketch here, one thing I noticed is interesting is the thumb that sort of squares off. It's more angular anyway in there. That's the thumb going straight out. We could have the thumb going up, but it shouldn't be turned down. This natural position, I cannot get my thumb to go like that, and I can't get it to go like that. Okay, so if my hand is in this position, I'm going to make it sort of curve here because the thumb likes to do that naturally. So the thumb, again, like I said, and especially when the hand is flexed like this, you can see, and you can see it on yourself, how much the thumb is curved. And it sort of collapses in here. Again, we could do this geometrically. I could think of that as a box also. More so a box into this part here. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. I'm just adding this box idea too, in order to get you to understand the three-dimensionality of the hand, as well as the elliptical. So we can, again, like I said, look at it. You can look at it like that too.
Can you superimpose that on the hand that you just did?
I'm sorry?
Can you superimpose that on the hand portion too, the boxes?
Oh,
It's good awareness for them, like what you just did with the wrist.
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, sure.
That, 'cause animators look at it sort of both ways.
Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah, and that, the thing talking about the tendons, that was really useful too. That's something that Garth talks about, that they'll just draw indicators of where those tendons are. Especially if it's a tension pose, right?
Yeah. Okay. Some people do an arc, other people do a straight. I don't like the straight particularly. I try to always make sure I got a curve, or at least a sort of a wedge shape up here at the knuckles. And if we're looking at part wedge and then actually that would be symmetrical. It's not position. We could do the same with the fingers too. Here, 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 here. Oops. Sort of more like French fries. So the other thing, I haven't really talked about it too much, is the perspective aspect of it. If we're looking at this French fries here, what we should see too is that even with the fingers, we have to, and that's why boxes are helpful, is to understand that things are getting smaller as they, oops, let me do this correctly here, move away from you, so that they're converging. So the finger itself is converging as it moves away. Get this here. We don't see so much. A bit of a side. Oops. Make this sort of robot. Okay. So you get the idea. the converging three-dimensionality of it, the perspective of it. Ends up looking like a glove. The whole thing too that's important is just that we just get proportion between each phalange, all the digits.
Does it matter whether we construct the hand out of like the 3D like square, like rectangular prisms and stuff, or could we just use like the circles and ovoids?
I'll tell you that I think ovoids work better personally, because what happens is this: when you if you're working with geometry, you get these sort of broken, non-fluid type of lines, and you can work that way as well. When I'm teaching the students, I have them gesture so that their tool stays on the paper, and that way, you know, you build it by adding more pressure as you go. And maybe you can think of them in both ways, both ovoid wise or geometrically, kind of at the same time. You know, it's really, you know, it's up to you. You sort of mix the two together. And let's go into profile view. Just look this way. I'm going to get the fingers to come out. And let's say we're going to make it dimensional now. The same thing should still happen. Your longest finger is going to be in the center. Thumb sort of always curves up. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just sort of doing something like this now. Sort of this way. Sort of both directions there. Curving that way. How many, let's see here.
Too long, maybe?
Okay, so the distance here to the back of your box. And so here, although, here's the tricky part. When things are closer, they're bigger. You got that idea right. The only thing is that the second finger is longer than the first one. So even though the second finger is longer, even though that one's closer, the second finger is longer. it's still going to be out here because they're not that far away from each other, right? You can see here. So the second one should be coming out further, yeah. So what I was trying to do here, let me kind of break this down a little bit. I'm gonna curve this way still because the second finger is longer. So that one here, this one's in here. The same thing goes, and they go back.
Oh. Jordan, I think your battery's died. Can I see your battery pack?
Okay.
What's going on? Either you pressed mute. Still good.
I bumped into it. You can't hear me now.
That's still good. I don't know why I can't hear. Where are you gonna stick it right there?
Or I have to talk louder.
No, it was fine before. I don't know what's going on.
Bones.
Can you say something?
Bones.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Do the knuckles also curve like the same way that the finger joints do?
Yeah, they do. Oh, and here's the thing, if you recall from before. The curving from this part of the hand, the curving is spread apart more. The next layer and the next layer. But on the pinky side, they come together. So the curve is always lesser, all right? The distance is lesser because the pinky's smaller. That's why the curve is less there. And the curve gets greater out here, and then a little lesser there, but not as much as the pinky. So that this space here is lesser than this space over here. All right, and that's a thing that all of them do as we curve around. Let's do some studies of your own hands. Let's get a page and actually look at doing some sketches of your own hand in different positions. Let's do the first one. I guess you can't. If you had a mirror, it would work.
We do.
Do you have a mirror?
Yep.
Okay, let's use a mirror.
Easels.
Let's use a mirror.
And we were gonna work this last week, so.
Perfect. Yeah, give my hands a rinse.
Yeah. Okay, let me grab an easel. I'll get you the table easels too. Do they need to stand them up on an easel?
Just give me my hands.
Okay. Here we go, guys. We can get set up. You can tilt that the way you need to. I don't know. You probably want to stand it up more, I would think.
Yeah, I can do it.
There we go.
Will it go down further? Actually,
Doesn't go down too
Actually,
far.
let's-
Or just lean it on the
yeah,
table.
we're just gonna set it.
Okay. Excellent. Practice, right? That's what we need.
Stand it up. Get it a little straighter. If you get it a little straighter, it's better. You don't get too much distortion. Perfect.
Right, if it's angled, then it's gonna distort, right? So you wanna try to put it as upright as it'll, without it falling over though. Good.
Okay, we'll set it back just a bit. And then put yours back a little bit as well, okay? Good. Okay, we're good. Okay, first thing, of course, if you're righty, you're gonna draw your left, you're lefty, you draw your right. Put your fingers out. First of all, I want you to try to stand your wrist up or stand your fingers up in a natural sort of way, right? Nothing too forced, and make them squash. If you can squash them in a little bit. You see how my fingers are curled back towards me? If you could do that, yeah, squash them in a little bit. Okay, so then what you want to look at first of all is the largest area that you see is the middle finger, right? Or this finger. I don't know why they call it the middle finger because there is no middle. Think about it. You should have a fifth in there that was supposed to be the middle finger. You notice that animators often only draw 3 fingers and a thumb?
Yeah.
You notice a lot of cartoons with 3 fingers and a thumb?
Yeah.
Well, they obviously do have a middle finger, and in their case, we don't. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and first thing you're going to look for is the wedge shape from your wrist, that wedge shape. You notice my hand is more square. You guys have more elongated or rectangular hands. Turn just here for a second. We can get hands that are rounded, hands that are squarish. This is mine. Or we can get a more rectangular hand, or even a more triangular hand.
This is great stuff. Perfect for animators.
So the rounded hand is more plump, of course, so the fingers are going to come out of more of a plump sort of form. A squarish hand like mine is more sort of geometric. You get this kind of SpongeBob looking. And you guys have somewhere between those two, I can tell. Sort of thinner wrists and then spreading out to, and this is more of an elongated kind of hand. The squarish hand has a little bit thicker wrist, right? And a more plumper person, you can use more ovoids if you want your figure to be more solid or whatnot. You can probably use geometry instead. So you guys have something like this going on. Now, in your case, work a little bit, oops, a little bit. Starting at the top of your wrist, your hand is coming towards you like that. It's in perspective. That means it's getting smaller as it goes in that direction. The next thing is that your hand has dimension. You can actually see the bottom of your hand in your position in the mirror, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then the next thing you're going to notice, you've got this sort of curve thing going on. It's doing 2 things. It's curving this way. Then your center knuckle is really coming out towards you the most. Then it's curling backward and then down. As your knuckle is coming out towards you, you've got a hump going up in this direction. Remember I said the spool of thread idea? And as your knuckle is curving now to your fingernail away from you, it's curving in that direction. So that each, then your next finger is spread. This distance here is now increased, and this distance is increased to the next one, and then it decreases a little bit over here. So the largest spread that you have is occurring where the knuckles are coming closest to you. Okay? The next one Maybe over here, maybe these two are closer together. Or sometimes the pinky, you can stretch it out even more. We're going to draw axes. The axis is the center line, and we could say that that's that tendon. So the axis then going from the pointer finger is coming in that direction, and then going back behind you. The same thing goes with your ring finger. It's nice that they all have names so we know what they mean. And this is your swearing finger. That one's going to be relatively straight. It's coming towards you. Then the pinky's going to be going sort of backwards as well. So then you notice that you get this another arc again. Okay, so you got an arc here. Then the arc is different. The arc is up there. This is the geometry of a foreshortened hand where the fingers are coming out towards you. So go ahead, guys, and sort of start to draw this skeletal type structure.
You want their fingers curled at the end, like they're playing piano?
Yeah, so I was hoping that they sort of tuck back inward a bit.
Yeah, okay.
You see how mine is here? Like this. What I'm after is that you get this concept that it goes this way, then this way. So you have 3 different change points or articulation points.
This knuckle's way lower than the other ones.
Which one? Where, I'm sure.
My pinky.
Yeah, maybe you spread, it looks like in your case, you're close together here, you spread this one out. That's still natural, that's okay. As long as, the idea is that I want you to get this opening up here. Okay, narrow, and then wider, and then narrow again, on the other side. And your thumb will come out of here. That's it. Get your axis points. That's the center line. Or imagine the marrow of the bone, the middle of the bone. And that's what I mean by axis. Very nice. You know what you've established? You've done yours. I'm going to switch this up for a second. You've done yours like this. This is your middle finger. Because of your eye level, you're looking here near your hand, the eye level is close. It appears that this knuckle is higher, curving up that way, right? Good. Do
you want them to have a box to put their hand on to get it upward, or you after more?
No, that's okay. Just their point of view.
Okay.
And as they come up through their point of view, I can point out why it looks like that.
So if you need anything, you just ask, and we'll get it for you, so you can teach how you need to, right?
Okay.
And I always thought hands are so hard. They're still pretty hard.
Taking some of the mystery out of it, hey?
Yeah, definitely.
It's good.
Trying to consider how you have your thumb. You just rested on the table there. Okay, so you've also, good. All right. So your axis of your thumb is actually coming out like this and sort of bending that direction. Good. Okay. If you can look, you can see that this is the thumb, the brevis muscles of the thumb. Right here, your ovoid would come lower, okay? Because your thumb is going to, you see that part in your knuckle?
Yeah.
That's where your thumb is coming out of. So if you look on mine here for a second, and so the muscle, my
He wants
thumb,
to show you something like that.
yeah, the thumb muscle, the ovoid is there. Okay, and then the thumb is coming out of that spot. There's a little piece of flesh there, but this is where your volume is meant to be,
Okay.
sort of in there more so. And I think I brought that finger down too long, actually. Pinky should be shorter.
Hi, Jared.
Let's see this side. And that's quite nice, as far as getting the arches, the curves going. One thing that you'll have, the other thing too, I want to point this out. Look at this, look at the knuckles as they're going. Let me take this, let me show you. Actually, no, I'll use my red concave. Right here, this knuckle is obviously going to be the widest. I'm really exaggerating this, by the way. But that's your widest one right here. You've got these lines in it because, of course, the skin expands and contracts in that area, so that's why. This will be sort of your second widest. Those two there. And that will be more narrow.
Is that because of how they're structured or because of foreshortening?
That's because of foreshortening and also the scale itself. This is a wider knuckle, even if they're all parallel to your face. It is a wider knuckle. Then when you foreshorten it, it actually is even larger. It's even exaggerated more so. Okay. How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
He's good. This is
Christian?
Yeah.
Jordan, nice to meet you.
Oh, so that's Wednesday.
Yeah.
She was one of my media arts students who was doing video editing,
Excellent.
and she realized she needed to be able to draw just a little bit to be able to do her storyboards. So
Good.
she's not after being an animator.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's see, here for 1 second. I'm going to adjust to.
We can still pick up some stuff.
This will be a lesser distance.
There it
Okay,
is,
that's
under
gonna be
the
increased in
basic stuff,
size.
which would have been more.
You get the right idea. Should, it sort of almost points out that way,
Yeah, it does.
like a,
Follow along anyway.
you know, like a pickle shape. I guess wider at one end and then,
should be using here.
Yes, your hand.
That's really.
Yeah, so what I was doing is having people look at their hand in this direction. All the time, we're looking at this sort of spider webbing effect. Everything is curved because your pinky's smaller, so everything is always, I'd call it spider webbing. Because if you were to connect between that, you get the same sort of forms of the spider web. You know how the spider web is sort of narrower and wider, so sort of fanning out. So if you have your hand like this, for instance, in front of the mirror, what I was having everyone do is just start out with the general. Now I'm doing this. Your hand it's going to be narrower at the wrist, and then it comes out into this sort of wedge shape. And your fingers, because of your point of view, you should be able to see a little bit of the palm of your hand underneath part in the mirror. I mean, a little bit, right? Just a little bit. So there's this little bit of a belly under here in your hand. And your fingers are actually coming out like that. And so if you'll notice this, the second finger inward, or they call it the middle finger, that should be pretty much straight towards your face. This finger is going to come out a bit in perspective, and this finger will come out like this. And so they're fanning outward as they come out towards you. And there are two reasons. One is foreshortening, and the other reason is because of scale or size. So then the next knuckles either can be like that, and that's if you're looking down at them, or if you're looking straight at them, his, in that case, we're curving this way. Sort of curving this way. So that the second knuckle here, and I'm doing them as ovoids. Let's see, we're sort of curving up now. Right, and sort of ovoids or cylinders, and I can make them directly cylinders, but I was showing these guys that your bones are more like spools that you have thread on. They actually sort of narrow in and then buckle outward at the end. Okay, so then we're doing the fingers coming out, like so. Now the thumb is coming out on the side as well. And generally speaking, it sort of does this type of deal. It wants to come back towards you. And so then out of here, 1, 2, and then 3. And this is the part on the end that's more like a pickle shape. This is still a cylinder here, so more so. Okay, and you got, I guess you have your thumb going outward differently. You have your thumb going out this way. So then the next thing is that you have your center finger curving
He's teaching in the evening, and now it's a really good way to learn how to draw hands, actually. I totally get it.
Yeah, good. It's just,
Oh, yeah. During the day.
Yeah, did you have any time for the
okay.
Well, that's good, very good. Maybe you can teach them.
Yeah, that's what we've got all of.
Just keep in mind that we're filming right now, so if you just get quiet.
Hello.
This guy's a really awesome instructor from the US University. It's really good. See what he's doing, and that's good vertical. You look at your sketchbook. You want to sit and draw? You're welcome to.
Let's see what we got. Okay.
Just walking through.
I do have
Let's see. Let's look at one here.
To be inclined. Just hang on for 1 second.
We've got this. And let's try to, I guess we could keep it straight.
If you want to see.
Good. Sit down and draw.
Okay, because
Don't
it-
make
it's
it
small.
problem.
You might not, I don't know, do you see any of your nail here?
I do, yeah. But like,
Is your nail curving under this way and down? Or is your, at the cuticle? Or is your nail curving that way?
it's kind of more like,
Yeah, I can,
it's like here,
We'll have to fix up.
1 second.
like that. Touching. Not really bad, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, just look at.
Oh, no, yours are curving up and over, okay. That's what I was just wondering. So at your finger here, your nail is curving that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I just wondered if it was curving under, like I did here. You see how I had that curving under. I didn't know if it was curving under or over. But the thing is, with the center finger, and, well, it's not bad, it's not bad. It's just that your pinky's too long. Okay? And a little bit too wide on the pinky.
I tried to fix it.
Just make it thinner. I think you'll be fine. The only other thing I was gonna show you now, let's look at this. Let me see your pencil. We're gonna come in here. I like how that comes up like that. You know, and on this side, we're coming in and up and over. I like how that does that too. And let's just try to not let the line break off. The line should actually articulate the cylindricalness of it.
Once we actually like highlight the cylinders and stuff.
Yeah, even so thinly, yes. That was pretty good, I like that. Right in here. Let's do that here too with the knuckles. So what I'm gonna get you to try and do is to draw lighter, first of all.
Yeah.
Hi. If you draw light first, then it's easier. You see how he has it. If you draw light, bless you.
Thank you.
Then all you have to do is emphasize a little darker later on.
Yeah, I could, yeah.
Okay?
Okay, no problem with that anytime.
Oh, pressing hard or yeah, that's all right.
Like I know I do it, but then it just ends up.
Second nature.
Yeah.
Next pose I want to do, let's move on, and then we can tweak them up later. Yeah, just try to stay lighter and thinner, that's all. So the next position. Come back here. Just turn the pad around in a second.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that was a good one, wasn't it?
Night.
Okay.
Do you need a new pad?
What's that?
Do you need another pad?
I think we're good. Let's do it like that. Recycle, reuse. Okay, see if you, in the other hand again, let's go in the mirror, and we're gonna get your hand to rotate. That's something just like this. Like that. Yeah. Palm out. Oh, I guess it's hard because you're on the table. You can't do it. You don't wanna hold your hand in an uncomfortable position. Just lay it like that then, or put your fingers like that. Just sort of on an angle like this. That'll work.
Curl?
Okay, again, so we're dealing with another foreshortened drawing, right?
Do we curl them or do we?
Yeah, try and curl them. Bring your fingers back towards you. Slightly.
And should you see your palm?
Can you see your palm?
A little bit.
You should be able to see your palm. I want you to see your palm. Okay. Now, I want you to establish, first of all, the geometric structure of how your hand looks laying on the table. Is it something like that?
Yeah, actually. Sort of like a parallelogram.
Yes. So this is where the palm is laying. This is where your thumb is up.
Wait, so
Oh,
that,
I'm looking at it the other direction. So I'm looking at it as if I'm looking down my own arm. I'm sorry, you guys are looking at your fingers going inward. But still, nonetheless, your general overall shape should look something like this.
Do you want us to look at our own arm instead of like?
Yeah, let's do it like that. Just
Okay.
look at your own hand this way. Don't use the mirror.
Okay, so
that's really like, turn this down.
Yeah. Turn it around so you don't think. Yeah, that could happen. That could work. Just turn it around. Okay. So we're going to look at our hand this way now. So at the wrist,
Wait, so what's that line at the top?
I'll start again. I'll just flip this up.
No, no, you don't have to start.
Oh, that's all right. Okay, go like this. The geometric simplification, if my hand is, I don't know, I can turn it any way it changes. I'm gonna keep mine like this. Like this. It goes out to my big finger, down my pinky finger, back down the palm of my hand, and then up to my wrist again. Then I have my thumb, and that comes down my wrist this way, and I have my palm. And I use this for the palm, that's for the thumb.
I think I'm just trying to draw like the overall shape.
Oh, how I determine the overall shape is that for any position, if I imagine that I am doing an angle around the perimeter, around the outside, okay? So this shape is established because I am going around the whole part. So here's my pinky, here's my big finger, or this is the ring finger, this is the next one, this is my pointer finger, and this is my thumb.
Box. Will the overall shape be different for
Depends on how you have it rotated.
things like that?
Okay? I'm going to sort of have it like this. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is you can't always see all of the fingers. So I have my thumb here. That's making contact. I have my pointer finger. That's making contact here. My middle finger. And this disappears. I can't see it anymore. Bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you?
And
Is that
off.
The cough.
Oh.
Thanks, though.
Oh,
It was a mix.
that was a mixture.
I never remember why we say bless you though.
There's
So
like a
that
whole
you're
story
the, yeah,
about
they
it.
Yeah,
used to
isn't
think
that
your
the myth?
soul would pop out if you sneezed.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want us to start drawing our hand now, or?
Oh, whoa, wait.
If you're cupping your hand, Yeah, I sort of went ahead of you a little bit there. Yeah, okay, so that's good, that's good. You got your thumb, you got those. Now move on. Next thing you're gonna
Is
do,
that correct?
it's not bad. If you look here, we'll come up over, you got those two.
Oh, yeah, that's how I made it in the beginning, but I thought it was weird, so I changed it. Okay.
And the ball comes out. Now the rest comes out.
We should like put a YouTube video up for this, and then we can have tons of hits. It's like there's no YouTube videos on this.
How to draw hands. They usually draw
correct
them like
way.
a minions.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a few of them, but most of them are just this sort of generic, almost cartoony things. I think it's important to think about how they work in terms of their skeletal structure.
This is how you want the hand to be, right?
Yeah, you're drawing well. You keep moving around, right? And look at how, all right, try not to press too hard off the bat, right off the bat. Okay. So general outline. Remember I said macro to micro, so you go to your two largest parts first. Those are the two big cheeky parts. Okay, that's your thumb muscle and then the palm of your hand. Are you going to draw? Sure, why not? Have a seat. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're standing there for a little while. I didn't know you didn't look comfortable. I want you to be comfortable. Have a seat. Enjoy.
So,
What you got? You got your drawing pad? You got pencils too?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll get you maybe we can get you a mirror and a little easel too. I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were just watching or. I'll have to ask.
this line right here,
Very nice.
is that closer?
That's good.
This-
It is closer, yeah, it is closer. Let's actually see, that's the palm. And the next one, it's going to, that's pretty good there. Establish first of all where the tips of your fingers are going to be. Imagine I put a string that attached from each tip of your finger all the way around.
So like right here.
So that's right here, across those. Okay, now one thing I want you to do, real quickly, judge the distance between there. Look at that negative space that's there, that negative shape. You see that?
Oh, okay.
That'll help you determine where your pinky's gonna go. So we've got a blank page. You gotta find you a little mirror and these little, don't know where she got them.
I'm not sure either.
Okay. Yeah. I was just looking for a little easel for her in the mirror.
Sure,
To do that.
she can stay if she wants. You want to, oh, you're drawing a dragon with fingers, oh. I think your dad wants you to go. Yeah.
What do you want to do?
It's fine.
This one too soon.
Yeah, but it's okay, keep going first. Keep going first, and you can adjust their weight later.
So, do you do on knuckles? You don't even make knuckles.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you can draw, if you overlap your ellipses, you'll get the sense of knuckle, the knuckle feel to it. Whoops. Exactly. So let's see, so the next thing too, try to get that little pocket in there. Okay, you're not bad. Again, remember to try to, I'm sorry, I'm going to steal your pencil from you. Oops, sorry. Go ahead. Try to draw them, try to draw it right through. Okay, so when you do that, like try to draw it through, but what you do is you press harder and release, press, release. Understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And that'll allow you to articulate the contour and still have the sense of the three-dimensionality of the volume. Oh, that's pretty nice. I'll tell you what, though, when you're just doing this palm part, we would look at that as all one circle. Yeah, just very lightly, one oval there, and they overlap, but that would get erased later. And it's important to try to always draw through things. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah. They're just drawing the inside.
Okay.
So I showed them, first of all, just to look at the shape of the hole, then you divide it by going to the segments, and then you can establish the volumes of the phalanges, and then you can see sometimes your lines are going over or under, depending on the bend. And okay. Yeah.
The ovoids go at like the joints of the fingers, right?
Was that?
The ovoids go at like the joints of the
Yeah, they
fingers.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
It's strangely enough, the line is deceiving. This line that's in the center is deceiving. These lines are deceiving because, especially this one, because what's going on is really both bones have joined, and maybe the bone is curving away from you, so it's actually like this. But then the skin is on top, and the skin is folding this way. So the skin folds don't necessarily indicate the direction of the cylinder of the bone.
Right.
Right? So the skin folds can do, they're deceiving, they do their own thing.
So it's almost like hidden.
Yeah. So the bone is actually all the way through an ovoid.
Oh, darn you, skin folds.
You see the skin folds on top? You see that kind of, the skin fold might do this sort of thing here, or even, sort of bulge down. But the bone is doing something else underneath. Depends, because if it's going in that direction, then it turns and goes in that direction. This pinch that's the skin is not because of the bone, or it's because of the bone, but it is because it's skin, it doesn't articulate the direction of the bone. Like if I go like that, actually in the skin folds, I can see I have something that goes like this and this. See if you can see that in your own finger. It's hard to explain yet, but I got one piece of skin going that way, another piece of skin going this way, and it almost looks like and so underneath the bone, let's see, where's that? I can see it right there. You see how, I'm sorry, in your finger, you see you got one line and two lines.
Yeah.
Okay? Now fold your finger together, right? It looks like one line.
Right.
Spread it out, looks like two lines. Don't spread it right out, you can see the bone underneath.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually a hinge.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you're looking at is this little piece inside. You're looking at this little space right there. nuts in between. That's where the skin fold is. So if you curl your finger right up, it only looks like one line. If you open it, you've got two lines. And you'll notice that when you got two lines, one's smiling or frowning and the other one's smiling.
Okay, and it's because of that bone, right?
And it's because the bone is through the center. Yeah, right here. I'm just going to put a little shade on the side and a little shade on the side, so you know it's sort of 3D. But this is the skin.
Okay.
And then as you close it, if you close your hand this way, the curl will go up. So it looks like one line going that way. If you close it this way, it'll be one line that's smiling or going like this. I like that one. So you see on my hand here, this sketch, because of the position of my fingers, this one's going that way, this one's going this way. So they don't always go in the same direction. Depends on what finger is coming towards you or moving away from you. So that's why you'll see in my fingers here, this one's going up and down. A lot of times in our skin, we have S curves. These flame shapes. So that's what's happening here in the fingers. They're coming towards you. Have a look. You'll notice very lightly, you'll see a line that goes like that and like that. Okay?
Okay.
Karen, can I borrow an eraser?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, sure.
That's good. Increase your palm muscle maybe a little. Oh, actually, no, you just have more lines articulated there. That's all.
You don't
Okay.
have much like here.
Yeah, I have a lot of,
Muscle.
I have,
Anything in my body actually.
and bring this line here down and sweep it. Here's another example of an S curve. I just mentioned an S curve. You see in my hand here, the sketch? I got another one here, an S curve. So curve this way and like that. The letter S.
I don't see it though. It's here.
Yeah.
Oh, and then around the muscle.
Exactly. It curls this way, it dips and comes down there. And yours is a subtle S. So your S here, I exaggerated. Yours is more calm. That kind of S. So around your thumb, through the middle of your hand, and then down your wrist. It's doing this.
Oh, yeah.
You see? Okay, good. So now you can get rid of what you have underneath, and it's really wonderful you drew underneath, so it's transparent, so that's why you can tell where things are joining. So you're obviously taught that, or? Yeah, yeah, good. Okay. That's good. All right, and the main, here, one thing, this S-curve idea, it's gonna come over a little more because your thumb muscle should be bigger than your palm muscle, even just slightly, right? So that line could actually come over a little bit, or we'll just soften it through the center.
Yeah, you can just erase it.
Just a little bit. Just soften it up and make sure that this is a little wider. Not quite so small. But looks good. That looks like it has volume, three-dimensionality. Yeah, it does. Very good. That looks good too, actually. It's quite nice.
I cannot draw with the thumb.
One thing what would happen here, yeah, this is going back. That's not going to come straight up necessarily. That's not too bad.
Don't they
It
kind
would
of
come
like
over.
the point right here?
Yes, they do. It would be a bit more there though, not exactly right in the middle, because you've got your wrist turned, because it has to come around the bend and go that way. right? So you see how my wrist is turned, yeah, like this. So they do come up, but not exactly up to here. They're gonna be angled to come in that direction earlier. So that's actually gonna go a little bit more like that. You're close. That's good. Beautiful. Nice.
It's a little bit lighter. Not really.
Let's try that. Let's try one. I'm gonna hold an object. Hold something this time, and we'll do it like this. Let's what we can look at. I'll just wait a minute. This time.
Can you draw on the back?
This is yours? Yeah, you can draw on the back. Sometimes, I don't know, it's up to you. If the thing's coming through or not, it might bother you.
Yeah, sorry. What'd you say?
This is yours?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I'll just borrow you mine. I'll use it for the next one, okay? I'll just wait a minute here.
Oh, I gotta change your battery pack.
Okay.
It's static.
Do you need headphones?
No, I do. It's making no difference with the effort. Okay. There. It's a good precursor to tomorrow. So if we can get more into line weight and giving space tomorrow, that should work well.
Yeah, I got
Why not like a blue?
I'm actually like, I feel like the lighter blue.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't even thought the purple.
Right, blue. Like, I mean.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think I finished it.
Yeah, quite nice, good. And then, yeah, like you said, tomorrow we work on line weight, which is indicating where light and shadow are occurring.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Leave it at that. Let's go with this one now. We're actually going to work on holding. I'm going to hold this object in my hand. Now, again, whenever you take a position with something, you should always try and be comfortable, because that's what looks natural. If I'm doing something like that, it's not, it doesn't feel natural, so it won't look natural. It'll look stiff. Okay, so the idea is to take something and always try to just hold it naturally. Like obviously these fingers here are useless. They're not important for the position. They don't need to be there. Like erect or anything. Oh, you want to
Also,
Yeah.
Part of their required portfolio as a piece is anticipating an action and then performing the action. So not only are we looking for line, weight, and volume, but kind of thinking that through, and this is a perfect lead into that. And then there's reactions within the hand. And I love that you've been talking about skin and stuff like that, because when you're holding something or about to do an action, the skin has different reactions to what the muscles and tendons are doing. So that'd be a great thing we can look into tomorrow too. So this is a perfect precursor to that.
I mean, the best is when you draw an old man's hands, because you can really go crazy with articulating the knobbiness and the wrinkle parts of it. A baby's hands are great because baby's hands are very elliptical. So really ovoids. Baby's hands are really rounded, very, very rounded. And if you have thought, let's say a thin woman, like a model who's starving herself to death, she's very skeletal. So there's almost no fleshiness or muscle to articulate at all. You could actually literally get away with drawing bones of a skeleton and you'll be fine. Just put fingernails on the end. So we'll notice different people in different ages will have different surfaces to their hand. So let's take, first of all, grab something in your hand. Again, I told you mine is very boxy. My hand is boxy. So I'm looking at this geometry right here. And I'll put my hand up and show you. I'm looking at that angle to that angle, down, in, up, here, and through. So you see that shape that I've just drawn around in my hand? That's this here. This sort of general boxy thing. Now you can, the animators would even simplify it. They would just go like this. I would just do that. And you'll really get a cartoony feel. But what we're missing is this here. We're missing this here. Because these are the low points and the high points. So that high point to that low point. And then the other thing is there's another low point here. Because our skin is twisting in. Since our thumb is a volume, and you remember the picture I showed you in my slides of the woman who was drawn elliptically? If I go elliptically, look at the effect I get of skin. I do get wrinkles. I get a lot of them. Now, on my hand here, I have a couple of wrinkles which are stronger. I can emphasize those. I've got this sort of V shape in here. And now all of a sudden, just by following the volume of the form and the direction in which the cylinder of the thumb is coming towards me, it's curling under, I'm getting the effect of skin or the wrinkles, okay? Now I can, if there's too much, I'm not that old, so I could erase these away, leave the ghosts of them, and you actually end up getting the skin tone. You can actually end up getting the smoothness of the skin surface. Okay, so I'm going to continue here just with the form. I'll try to stay out of the way a little bit. So this knuckle is coming towards me. That means it's curling under, like that. So I'm getting a cylindrical curve this way. I got the wrinkles of the skin, but generally I still want to stay with the bone. Okay, so we're going to go out like this, and the bone rises up sort of on a hill over here. I could have one line do that. And then my thumb is holding on to the object out here, okay? The object, if I'm holding it straight, I can see there's a It's a cylinder doing this. I want to stay drawing through it. And because the cylinder is an important part, not just my fingers, I need to be holding it. I'll draw it right in there as if I'm drawing through. This finger here, the other bit of fat part, I'm going to draw it. I can't quite see all the articulations of it, but I want to be able to sort of imagine and draw through it here. I can see how this finger's holding on. So I can draw that one in. Again, you stay light and sketchy until you get them all in.
So we actually like draw through the object?
Draw through the object. Okay, so I'm going to add this on here. And I had my fingers curled in before. I don't know why I've done like this now. So make a choice, Jordan. And it looks like I'm going to leave this one out here, and I'm going to bring this one. And don't forget our negative space. I'm going to put a little N in there, a little N in here, a little N in here. And those negative spaces help us determine scale or size. And here's an example of how the finger is coming over. It's coming back up into here. And I got some wrinkles. And you guys can go ahead, and guys and gals. I'll just keep noodling away on this for a minute.
Yeah, that's not a box, but that's okay.
Yeah, baseball diamond, kind of, I'm sure. Yeah, it's sort of a rhombus.
No, I dropped it.
Oh, he's brown.
It's got really messy really fast. I didn't mean to do that.
Should I focus on the
That's
outside
okay.
first, or should I-
No, that's fine. Okay, so here's, okay, so that is, all right. Now what you only need, right, you only need one, and then here, and sort of like a pickle shape or a pepper.
Mhm.
Then out here, that's that part. He's got little wrinkles on there. You can do that after. And then this part, and this is where it comes to the muscle. So you have one
So I
large
can
one.
take the circle away and just do the pepper part?
Yeah, exactly. And you see how I draw really light? You don't, when you draw the ellipses of the fingers as you go around, try not to press too dark, okay? So even here, I've got this one overlapping this one, and that's what makes that knuckleball tail on the side.
Okay.
Okay, so that those two overlapping, you just keep it nice and light, because in the end, what you want is the contour line to be distinct and dark. Okay? So the contour line, especially where the light is coming, that stays thin, and then underneath part, usually you want to make it a little darker. Yeah, and then you can get the wrinkles in, which are also elliptical.
Okay.
Okay, and those will go dark. Keep that inside part almost transparent, like an X-ray. The inside is more faint, right?
I know you can't really tell what anything is.
Yes, I can. Yeah, you're doing fine. But the only thing is, make sure you roll remember your thumb is not like this, it's actually rolled inward because of the way you're holding on to it. But, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine.
Wait, can you say that again? That's good.
Okay, yeah, so what I'm saying is that right now your thumb up here, you wouldn't want to put your nail on like that. 'Cause
Oh,
it's
right.
actually showing more of its face to you, okay, that's all. And then this finger coming out here, and see 1, 2, this one is going to be overshadowed by your next one,
Oh, yeah.
and this is going to be shorter and coming in, okay?
Okay.
So again, these are tricky positions. Let's come out here, there, and down to your pinky.
Okay.
And then your hand is going to come out a lot further. So let's get some length to the palm of your hand. You have longer hands than that.
Oh, okay.
You get a lot of longer thumb muscle, you see?
Mm-hmm.
And that way your proportions will be better.
Okay.
Okay. Looks good. I even like how you got the webbing in here. And you notice it's triangular.
Oh, okay.
So the whole triangle space.
So we can still build the fingers out of like ovals, right?
Oh, you should. You should always. In order to get volume, always. With students that draw hands that only do the contour line, they'll always look two-dimensional or flat.
Okay, because I know we use ovoids to show like the joints of the fingers, right?
Mhm.
But we also build like the fingers themselves out of ovals as well.
Ovals or cylinders. Or again, like the other one is boxes like French fries.
Okay.
Okay, and you're always going to get volume if you approach it that way. Whenever you do a contour line around the whole outside edge of something, it'll look flat.
Okay.
And this is the difference when you can tell when someone has drawn the figure from looking at a photograph or a magazine picture versus if they've drawn them in real life. Even though they might be distorted from real life, they'll always look three-dimensional or volume. They'll have volume in most cases.
If someone's like really good at,
And that person deserves to be in the school.
If someone's really good at making photographs look like
yeah,
volume, it's because they understand volume.
really
And
well.
they've imbued their knowledge of volume from life
So basically they're
into
cheating.
photographic image. That looks good. I like those lines there. Cross contour lines.
This way too small.
Yeah, you're not looking at so much of the underside plane, right?
Yeah,
So you just bring that corner down to here and just show less of the plane and more of that angle, right?
yeah, I can see like,
Just a very thin piece of it.
no, I think I can see more than that though.
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just like, my eyes playing tricks on me.
Oh, I like that. Very, very good. Let's do those lines on the inside now. You see that there's curves of the folds of the hands? What they're doing is, look here, they're creating the illusion of the cupping. You want to create that little pocket on the inside, and that's what allows the hand to look like it's curved.
Yeah.
Right? So let's get those, you have this one lifeline there, the other one that tells the soothsayer that I'm going to jump off the bridge, and the other one, you know, those lines that they read for, to tell your future. Palm readers, that's what.
Are those real?
Oh, geez. If you think so. I think it's fun. Why not? But nonetheless, if you draw that, some of the internal topography, those contour lines of the folds, you'll get the sense of a pocket that will be able to hang on to a solid volume on the inside. You know, so it's pretty good. You know this term? I'm going to add this now. Line weight. Make sure I spell it correctly. Line weight, thin and thick. So have a look at my drawing here. If I can notice the light is coming from above,
Just wait for 1 second, please.
my shadows or my pockets are darker. Okay, that's going to help me get a sense of volume,
So like darker,
form. So, okay, lighter up here, and then darker underneath. So we got the forces of nature playing on something to make it look real. That's just light here and gravity. Okay, so light and then gravity being the pull of something, the dangling, the hanging, the floppiness of something. So those are effects that you would see. Now, if you don't have the line weight in your picture, apparent, you can always take your eraser and come back and get rid of things. And it will help soften, right? And then you can emphasize the undercuts. The other thing about line weight is thin and thick. So sometimes I'm going to have more smudgy, softer, broader, smudgy lines. Sometimes I'll have very thin and crisp, sharp, crisp lines. Okay, and on the skin, generally, you don't really have sharp, crisp lines. You have more in, say, folds of drapery. But in the skin, you're generally dealing more with softer, blunt, or smudgier sort of lines. But darker or lighter, thinner or thicker. And that's really the kinds of line weight you use in order to get something to look realistic.
So wherever it's shadowed on the hand is where you draw like the darker lines?
Yes. You gotta be careful though, because sometimes you get something called a penumbra. Let's say if I have my hand over top of a white surface, the photons of light are hitting the white, they're bouncing back up, and they're going to create a reflective light on my hand. So in essence, the darkest area would not be the very edge of it, it would be about that far into it. And you'll notice that a lot on smoother areas of the body, like a person who shaves their head. I showed you with my model before. So it's called a penumbra. And that's an A. Very simply put, if I have a sphere and I have light coming down, passing the sphere, hitting the surface, bouncing back up underneath, I get a bit of a lighter, I might have a dark line there, but it gets a little lighter again, and then we get this sort of, our shadow is darkest about a third of the way through the object, or even a quarter. Okay? So this is called reflective light. And you get that on the body quite a bit. You'll notice that, let's say it's something smooth like an arm, the shadow may be in the middle of the arm or a third of the way in if it's against something like a lighter surface. Now, it's hard to tell if you got dark hairy arms, but some people don't, right? You can see it on other people very well. Anyway, it's called reflective light or a penumbra, and that's where the light actually bounces back and creates a highlight on the volume. Hands, pretty fleshy, not so much. It'll happen more on like areas where the muscle is very tight to the skin. Let's say your calf muscles, because they're very cylindrical, and you'll never have a really, really dark line around the edge. You'll have a little bit of light coming back, or shadow coming back up.
So if like dark lines go on like where the shadows are, where do like the thick lines go? Or are they like the same thing?
Depends on the amount of fold that's occurring. You'd have very thick ones. You're talking, I'll give you an example. Like this one.
Okay.
There's if that's where the action is taking place mostly. So I'm holding this like that. I got two things going on. One, light is hitting this top part, light is hitting that. And this is the finger that's holding the weight the most. So it's doing the most work, and it's actually creating the collision between the two fingers. If you want to stress the area of action in the picture, and you notice on mine, that's where I articulated the darkest line. It's just right here. Why? Because that's the finger doing the work. That one there, this here. Also this area. And then, and I created a pinch because my object where the object is pinched in, the skin should buckle or bulge in front of it, right? So that's the other area of action that would take place. I could also thicken my line right up there. This in elements and principles of design terms, that's called emphasis. Emphasis. So in an animation, if you want to emphasize an action, you can stress it by using line weight. You can also stress it by, let's say, more detail in one area and everything else fading away or fogging away. You especially do it if a man is running down the street, running towards you. The back leg is going to be soft and light. The leg holding the body is going to be harder, darker, and that's going to stress the fact that the weight of the musculature is on that leg, and that leg is coming closer to you in your picture field, in your space. And you notice that next time you look at some graphic novels, you might be able to see that. Right? Less detail, less dark, less thickness of line. Okay? Anyway.
Those are things we're gonna talk about on Friday, Thursday and Friday, about dynamic composition and hierarchy of line and contrast, so that you can direct the attention to the number one message, what's happening in that scene. So like he's saying here, hold it. Plus we also want to create a sense of force and counter force. We're gonna, right, that's where it's holding. So we want to pull attention towards that. So those are all awesome little foreshadowings into what's coming. And so the class is over, so I want you to start thinking about interesting poses for your hand, right? It's anticipating an action and then carrying out the action. And we don't want to see the stuff we always see, like flipping a coin, lighting a lighter, like snapping your fingers. Let's think of something a little bit more unusual, interesting. Maybe it starts a question. So could you brainstorm tonight so that you have something interesting in mind for some hand poses tomorrow, and we're going to learn more about line weight and all those things and how an action would affect the pose, and you're going to help us with that. Just a little touch on some anatomy would be awesome, right? So a lot to try to do in one day, but you probably want to study the anatomy of the hand a little bit on your own using some books and things, right? So to inform yourself before you actually do your final drawings for your portfolio. Great. So thank you, Jordan. It's really awesome. So do you have any words? What did you think of Jordan's class?
It was very handy.
Very handy, yeah.
I had to do it once, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Garth taught this one time too, and yeah, it was full of bad puns. And I love too that, have you noticed a lot of your profs this last week mentioning things like the penumbra, the third line, reflected light, all those kinds of things, right? So it's coming up, isn't it? We'll just pull this one forward, and then it'll fit on. Here, just leave it up there, that's okay.
Okay, sure.
Awesome. So, light drawing tonight, Jordan, is it 7 o'clock, and the address is at 61 Tiffany West. 61 Tiffany West. It's in the Laidlaw's house.
Oh, okay.
I can text that to you.
Yeah, sure. Good.
So it's just by Exhibition Park. You know where that is?
Sure do.
Awesome.
Make sure we got all your stuff.
Okay, so we have a lunch break, and then I could really use your help filming this afternoon